Boba Fett is just a simple man wandering through the desert. I feel like each episode of this series is showing how Boba's changed from his old life as a bounty hunter to whatever he is now. I'm still not sure what that is. This one today, man, I mean, you can say some parts of this episode were mediocre, but this just hurts. Here are a bunch of details you might have missed in Chapter 3 and some stuff I found interesting. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Can we just take a second to recognize that Black Krrsantan, the big growling Wookiee, is actually a terrible bounty hunter. I mean, the Twin Hutts hired him to kill Boba, right? And what does he do? Pulls Boba out of the Polynesian spa and throws him across the room. Boba was asleep. Why didn't he just get the job done nice and quiet? He could have shot him, stabbed him, poisoned him, literally anything, but no, that's not the Wookiee style. Man, he might look like Chewie, but he certainly doesn't have his brains. Let's make as much noise as possible, throw him out of the bathtub and wrestle him to the ground. Also, where's the security in this place? How did Black Krrsantan even get in here? Don't they leave the giant front door locked at night, you know, so none of the Tatooine nasties come in? Prevent vandalism? Get some new locks installed on that door, Boba. You know that thing that sticks out at C-3PO and R2, that just the eye that comes out of the wall? Clearly it's not doing its job, it's a little faulty. So episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett gave us a gang of hover Vespa riding street kids that are suddenly happy to put their lives on the line for Boba just because he stood up to the dude selling water. Suddenly they're all like, yeah, we're gonna nearly die for you, Boba. You're the one. Now, some of you old school Star Wars fans might think that this girl with the cybernetic arm looks familiar. There's been no confirmation on this, but it's possible this is Arden Lyn. Arden Lyn is a Star Wars Legends character who first appeared in the greatest Star Wars game of all time, Masters of Krrsantan, released in 1997. Great game. Oh my god. And that's exactly what Arden Lyn is, a master of Krrsantan, which is basically like Kung Fu created to fight Jedi. Now, in Star Wars Legends, Arden Lyn is also a dark Jedi, so I'm not sure if this character in Boba will evolve to that, or if the Book of Boba is setting up this character for a future show or series, or who knows? We don't even know if it is Arden Lyn, but I mean, they look pretty similar, right? What do you think? Do you guys notice the painting in Chapter 3 that was destroyed during the Vespa scooter speeder chase? As if that's not a mouthful. This painting of Jabba sitting in his palace is actually some of the original Star Wars concept art created by Ralph McQuarrie back in the 70s and 80s, although there's something missing. Here's the original, and here's the one in the Book of Boba. Spot the difference? In the Book of Boba, Luke has been taken out of the artwork. I guess it wouldn't make sense for, Luke to be standing there because at the time he was just some random guy who showed up at Jabba's palace one day. Whereas Boba's, still in the picture because he probably spent a lot of time there. He's Boba Fett, he's a bounty hunter being hired by Jabba for many years, right? Wouldn't make sense in universe for Luke to just, be chilling, be hanging out with the gang in the picture. Why would they put them there? It's supposed to be like an artwork celebrating Jabba. And yet Luke Skywalker, the man who literally tore down Jabba's empire, is there. No. So at the start of episode 3, we get to see a map of Mos Espa as the palace droid explains to Boba that after Jabba was killed, Mos Espa was divided amongst 3 families. The Trandoshans, otherwise known as the Bosk people. They took the city center. The Aqualish took the workers' district. Hey, maybe Ponda Baba can get his arm back. Does a little extra work, learns how to sew. Ponda Baba is the guy from the cantina when Obi-Wan goes to town on him. Obi-Wan decides he's the most violent Jedi in the universe. He really is. He's taken off a lot of limbs. If you count, Anakin, it's all, 3 for 1, basically. 3 for 1 kind of deal there. And the Klatooinians, these guys here, controlled the starport and Upper Sprawl. But what I want to know is, just how accurate is this map of Mos Espa? Was Jon Favreau just like, hey, we need a map of Mos Espa? So the guys at ILM created a random render, just like, I guess it could look like this. Or is this map accurate? Well, after extensive Google searching, this here is the only other map of Mos Espa that I can find. That's not just a map of the pod racer track. There's a lot of them out there. Now, I'm not saying this map is accurate or the real thing, but this is much more narrow than what we see in the Book of Boba Fett. It's more like a rectangle, and this one here in Book of Boba is more circular. When it comes to Star Wars, I really want to see them get this kind of stuff right. Every little detail matters for continuity and for making this world feel more believable. Can someone please verify the Mos Espa maps? That'd be great.
I grew up surrounded by water.
Then Fennec's got to act like, oh, really? Really, Boba? How interesting. You grew up surrounded by water.
Tatooine was once completely covered with water. It's fascinating, actually.
But then Boba cuts him off. Boba, dude, I would have been fine if this entire episode was just a history lesson on how Tatooine used to be covered in water and what happened. Did it get too hot with the two suns causing all the water to evaporate? Did the Tuskens drink all the water? Did someone come and steal it all? Water seems to be a big theme in the Book of Boba Fett. We've got Boba in the bacta tank, the flashbacks to Kamino, the tree in the desert surrounded by water, and now Boba proudly talking about how he grew up surrounded by water. It's possible that during Boba's trip to the Gaffy Stick tree, he was experiencing the planet's history, becoming deeply connected to the Tuskens' heritage and how the planet was once a water planet. But are we going to hear more about water? What does it all mean? The raindrops on the window with the hand. We're 3 episodes in, and I still have no idea what the story is. Revenge story on a code. Boba is the crime lord now. This has to be the saddest Star Wars scene ever. I know a lot of people saying they didn't like this episode as much of the Book of Boba, but after bonding with the Tuskens last week, Boba teaching them to ride speeder bikes.
Like a panther. Yes?
This is tragic. The music hit me, man. The look on Boba's face as he watches the fire burn. Oh, man. A few details you might have missed in this scene. Not only are there dead Tuskens and Banthas, but you can also see a destroyed speeder bike here. This here is the chieftain with his special ceremonial gaffy stick. Boba later throws this in the fire, and then from his cloak, he takes out the Tusken kid's unshaven stick. So yes, the Tusken kid was also killed.
Release him.
I was genuinely surprised when Boba released Black Krrsantan. I mean, if the Hutts don't want him, why not put him on your own payroll? Employ him as another bodyguard. I mean, so far you've only got yourself, Fennec, the 2 Gamorreans, one of which is, kind of incapacitated right now, and a bunch of teenagers. The place feels so empty. Seriously, they're just sitting around eating some food. There's no one here. There's no parties. There's nothing. Who's guarding this place? Black Krrsantan just walks in here willy-nilly. He just shows up one day. But I love how Boba just talks to him just like another bounty hunter.
No hard feelings. It's just business.
And another important detail in the scene, Boba refers to himself as an ex-bounty hunter. So he knows himself that he's well and truly moved on from that life, and from the life his father led, I guess. Being in the Sarlacc has given him that revelation. Took some acid to burn into his brain to realize, hey, maybe I'm not leading the best life. And so Black Krrsantan is free, and he just runs off into the desert like Bigfoot. Seriously, they look like exactly the same. Hey, maybe he'll become the Bigfoot of Tatooine. The legend will grow. A Wookiee roams the Dune Sea. What are the twins up to? I mean, apart from being the most disgusting things in all of Star. They come and offer Boba the Rancor as a gift to say sorry for trying to kill him, and then they say they're leaving the planet because the Pyke Syndicate are laying claim to Tatooine, and warn Boba to also leave. But Boba's skeptical. He says the Hutts would benefit from their enemies fighting one another, and when Boba asks them to renounce all claims of Jabba's legacy on Tatooine, they don't directly say they'll oblige. They just say they're leaving. Yeah, heck, we're out of here, that kind of thing. So are they secretly plotting against Boba and the Pikes? Are we going to see them again in the show? Is war actually bad for their business? Or are they just going to go and do as they say and, chill on Nal Hutta and sit in each other's slime? That's the show we all need. So Boba Fett's been given a rancor, and it's told Machete that he wants to learn to ride it. I love that the Book of Boba is painting a better picture of rancors. They're not just angry, giant, scary beasts. They're innocent creatures. They have feelings too. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Return of the Jedi was way ahead of its time for this guy, Jabba's Rancor Keeper, who's clearly upset after Luke kills the Rancor. Animal rights activist right here, and it looks like we'll be seeing more of that in the Book of Boba. Boba's going to form a bond with the Rancor. I like that new Star Wars shows are changing our ideas of all these things that in the past were just wild beasts, creatures, savages. First it was the Tuskens in Mandalorian, then lots more about them in this. Bad Batch had a Rancor that was like a big cuddly beast, and now Book of Boba. Rancor lives matter, monster lives matter, animal lives matter. Go get yourself a plant-based burger. So in this episode of the Book of Boba Fett, we got a direct reference to The Mandalorian. We see the stormtrooper helmets on spikes as Boba rides into Mos Espa on his bantha, but something you might have missed in this scene, in the background behind the helmets, you can actually see Peli Motto and her pit droids walking past. I mean, they live here, so why wouldn't we be seeing them, right? But now that we've seen them, I really hope we get to see what Watto's up to nowadays. Still doing dodgy deals on pod races? Republic credits will do fine?
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
I really hope he's still around. So the Pyke Syndicate are making their way to Tatooine and are laying claim to the planet. And this is bad news for Boba and the Hutts, because if there's one thing we know about the Pykes from their involvement in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch and Solo, it's that you don't mess with the Pykes. Because sure, there might only be a few of them here, but there's going to be a heck of a lot more of them on the way if you get in their way. They're businessmen who deal in spice and illicit substance. Personally, I prefer death sticks, that's just me. But what are the Pykes doing here? What do they want with the planet? Perhaps they're going to start mining spice on Tatooine. I didn't realize or don't know if Tatooine has spice. Or perhaps they're just selling it to the locals. Whatever they're up to, it's going to be bad for everyone else's business, especially the people who make the death sticks and Bacta. They're, going to have some more competition. Why do we keep seeing Kamino in the Book of Boba Fett? Again and again, we're getting these flashbacks to Boba in his room as a boy. Why does Boba keep dreaming about being a boy watching his dad fly away through the raindrop-covered glass window? Is this going to become a revenge story about his father Jango? Is that why he's thinking of him? Or is he being reminded of the life he doesn't want to lead? Of how his father was a bounty hunter, how that got him killed, and now how Boba's moved away from that life. He's had a revelation of sorts. He's found a higher purpose. I'd love to know what you guys think. Why do you think Boba keeps seeing this? Let me know. All the water, lots of water in this episode. And for more Star Wars and Boba Fett, you can watch one of these videos here. And also, if you're new around here, I have a clips channel with daily clips, memes, Easter eggs, everything else. Come check that out. And also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming, news, everything else. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.